The idea of a disenchanted university really came, I suppose I've had it in my mind really since I was an undergraduate myself. So I kind of went to university with big ideas about what I was going to encounter. And what I actually found, my experience of the university was a factory. It didn't do what I expected it to do. So I kind of experienced it. You know, I see it from the other side now. Is a machine for transferring information from one point to the other. So a kind of servo mechanism, which you know doesn't seem to be about the production of knowledge or allowing people to use information and knowledge to make sense of the world around them. It seems to have a much more kind of mechanistic, factory-like way of functioning, which, you know, in one sense reminded me of Max Weber's work on instrumental rationality, in another sense reminded me of what Adorno and Horkheimer speak about in terms of the kind of culture industry. Ironically, I think in the UK in particular, things have got, since I was an undergraduate, things have got much worse in terms of the university as a machine for just producing undergraduates and pushing them through this system. And then the other person who I really, the people who I think are really kind of brilliant on this idea is, first of all, recently I reread Jean-Francois Lyotard's book, The Postmodern Condition, which is all about how knowledge, you know, in a kind of postmodern society, knowledge is really about knowledge production for a purpose. And Lyotard talks particularly about technoscience and says, look, the reason that's a dominant form of knowledge is because essentially it's about science for the purpose of producing technology, which is all about kind of maintaining technological superiority in a kind of struggle between nations and so on. So his idea is the university becomes part of that kind of structure for production of knowledge for a very particular purpose. And then the other guy who more recently I think is really good on this problem is Bernhard Stiegler. And Stiegler is the guy who touches on, you know, this stuff you mentioned around nihilism and what that situation does to people within that institution. So the university in, I mean, I'm sure in other countries there's the same problem. Stiegler talks specifically about France, but in the UK, the university is a, you know, if you look at psychoanalysis and people like Donald Winnicott, the university should be a space of allowing students to develop and experiment, and it should be a kind of safe space. But in actual fact, I think the university now in the UK, they're hotbeds for the production of kind of mental health problems. So it's you know, they've become, because of the infiltration of these kind of economic processes, they've become places for the production of pathology and neuroses.